What's Adam doing? Boy, did I miss you, Adam. It's great to have you back. If anyone had the wherewithal to go for him this week, I'm super impressed. And thankfully, for those that are interested in him, and I think a lot of us should be, he only gained the 9K, so still sitting at 522 for an absolute keeper. It's great to have him back. I had him, last year, early on in the year when he was number 6, and just getting moved around through the centers and stuff was not a great thing there at all. But the main issue here is how the hell do Tigers lose this game? Obviously, Panthers have a great culture. They're able to come out and still win these, tough games when you're missing pretty much your whole spine. And yeah, for the Tigers, it's just tough times, really. That's the main and only worry for Adam, is that there's a chance that he gets moved again, something happens. But the biggest, clearest thing here is that he got all the kick meters. So Hastings played 13 and obviously went crackers, but you had Brooks there with very limited kick meters, and they gave the team to Adam and went, this is yours, do your thing. Made 119 run meters, 517 kick meters there, and got the cold kicking as well. So literally has everything in his power to do really well, and he should be 750k right now. So we're getting a couple 100k discount with ads, and you get the dual position half and the wing fullback in a position where, especially wing fullback, that's pretty light. To be honest, now the Pap's gone down, Adam Doueihi goes straight into that slot. So a super important player. To get the 83 this week, he's going to be definitely the most brought in player this week for sure. So yeah, if you need a wing fullback or a half, he's your guy for sure. Fisher Harris, great game for him, 70 minutes. So really helped them win this game. Obviously got the game winner as well. And Villy kick out, a big game for him. 47 in base, a lot higher than normal for Villy. So well done to him. Again, if you had the guts to throw Jackson Hastings in your side this week, or you've held him this whole time, you're really happy with the output at 13. So we had 57 in base, which was spectacular. Got the try assist there, a couple of offloads, and a couple of tackle breaks. So yeah, even with no kick meters, Hastings did a great job, and it looks like he might be sticking in this position. They're definitely going to have to give this new spine a good crack, right? Like, you can't just have 1 week. Well, you shouldn't just have 1 week and make changes from there. They've got Tim Sheens appointed as coach, going forward. So that'll be fun eventually to see how that, how his philosophy is put onto this side. They're obviously the last time they were successful with Sheensy, and you can tell, every second year they're like, oh, bring Sheensy back, and he finally gets that opportunity. So that's going to be fun to look at as well. But yeah, some nice big scores in this game. And if you played, snuck Eisenhuth in, not that many do, 0.3. Interesting that Doueihi is 0.7 right now. So there you go. Kenny, good game for him, 53. Kapoa with 48 for anyone who brought him in a while back. If you're still holding to Tungo, you got 47 and a nice try out of him. So if you played him, awesome. He still had plenty of negatives there at neg 17 to still score that well. Obviously, a couple of line breaks there. Chulangi, for anyone who has him in their side, of 47 in his 60 minutes. So ran the ball a little bit more, and every time he does, he always makes a bunch of tackle breaks. So that was great. Also, Sorensen with some good minutes there off the bench. Did a great job. Leota doing his thing. Edwards 44. Again, just that level below keeper. Unfortunately, Garner got moved to the edge again, which killed our people squad with Matamua. Unfortunately there, but Garner did his job for 42. A little bit more cash, only 3k made, and he's definitely a sell now. We spoke about him last week as being a seller also. Taylor May with 3k gain. So again, this is going to hang steady, I reckon, and average around that low 40s mark for the rest of the year. Offengawe was the interesting one this week with 8 missed tackles, which is so rare. So I think you just put this off as a bit of a blip. He did have 52 in base, which is great to see. Limited minutes as well. So 56, obviously missing 8 tackles this week. Coach wasn't happy with his output, and completely fair. When he doesn't miss many tackles in general. So offer 40 this week, not what you want. If you brought him in a couple of weeks ago, you get a 53 and now a 40, but he should improve from there and get somewhere around that 60 plus minutes, and that'll be enough. So with a PPM close to 1, he should be completely fine. Robert Jennings, if you picked him up at 238 there, you got a 40 out of him. He was on 40 odd pretty early. He kind of held steady for the last section of the game. Tupou as well, with 1 try, 2 line breaks there for 40 at that cheap price of 258. So well done to him if you own him as well. Pole with 25, so obviously 28k up. Again, you're probably not looking to trade him out anyway, so unless they're getting 50, 50, 50, and he gets to about 400 on, you have a few extra trades, you can do a downgrade, upgrade somewhere, but that's that on that one. Farmanu Brown, he only got the 13 this week, so has been scoring pretty well, but unfortunately has his first low game and ends up with a -3 K in losses, which is not great at all. We had Curdy Falls, who went off when Sonny Luke came on. So interesting one there. Did get the couple of goals, but just not much happening for him. Only a couple, the one kick there, the 26 run meters. A couple of forced dropouts was nice, but generally, overall, not great. Still made the 16K, but again, if you own him and had to play him, it was annoying. Thankfully, my head-to-head squad, I did not have to play him. I could end up looping Kohler, I believe. So, yeah, that was that first game. Just a tough one for the Tigs, and a great win for the Panthers, even though they didn't exactly need it, and worked out nicely that they were able to rest their players in this one. And it was a strange one that Brett Kamali came out and said that he thought it was really bad on them, on their team, to just rest all their stars when every other team, to rest them pre-team list, pre the weekend, or an hour before kickoff. I just found that stupid. Why can't you're allowed to rest your players? It happens in every other league across the world. I don't see that as an issue. If they're in a position where they can, look, they're not. It's not like they're playing their stars half. I get what they're saying about what people might say about making sure that you have all your stars playing the majority of the week, so that the fans watching get the best product and all that kind of stuff. But if your Tigers still can't beat the Panthers with that strength of a team, then I think the product issue is your team rather than the Panthers. Just wanted to throw that out there. If you're coming out and smashing them by 30, then you can say what you like, but to get pumped like that, anyway, thought that was a bit silly. I saw that little headline from Brett Kamali, and then Cleary clapping back at that. Good on you, Cleary. I think it's pretty fair. All right, the Storm beat the Raiders, and then Raiders are really playing pretty well at the moment, and the Storm are really scuffling, and obviously a really sad injury to my main man, Ryan Paps. That looked like it hurt so much, his poor knee. He's just copped, he hasn't been on the park enough for the last 2 years. Like, he's had stretches when he's been on there for, he gets 4 or 5, 6 weeks in a row, and he absolutely is killing it. And you even saw yesterday that he was playing super well before, that injury in the 20th minute. And why is Whiten just running over him? What's the theory there? Can you not, I feel like he's strong enough on Pap, especially to have a little step and palm him off. Like, that left fend he's got is incredible. So strange that he decided to just run directly into him, and obviously, worked so that, in the fact that Pat was out and couldn't hurt them in terms of his prowess on the attacking side of the ball. But strange one. Obviously, I'm just a little bit salty that Pap's out for the year. Not for my team or anything, but just for watching him play, because he's so fun, man. Okay, so in terms of scoring, anyway, we have a couple of nice ones with Munster and Grant, and we've spoken about very, very clearly that Munster and DCE are both terrific options, averaging around the same. Obviously, DCE slightly outdoing Munster this week, but both great trade-ins. You get the 5 offloads, the 3 turnover tackles with these steals and all the rest, and your tackles are up there, plenty of run meters. So there's always going to be attacking stats, and to not even have a try assist or a try and pick up 76 shows the skills that he possesses. And even having COVID last week, that he came back with a bang. It's a good pick up to anyone who did that. He still lost 4K this week, so you get him at 794 if you would like him there for sure. But obviously there's guys like Doueihi and stuff that you could select at a much cheaper price that aren't going to score the same, but will be able to contribute something close to what Munster could. Harry Grant, obviously a nice try for him, but without that, he's sitting in those high 40s. So very interesting that the amount of negatives that he ends up with, the 4 missed tackles, the 2 penalties is kind of normal at times. So still the second best hooking option, but just be aware of that. Meany's an interesting one again. So he's obviously got the 60. He played at the back once Pat went down, scoring tries, doing plenty out there. He's a solid player. He's just too expensive for sure. Adam Elliott, obviously getting 67 minutes was nice. Yes, a bit of nice. Jake Trbojevic. How good are those press conferences with Jakey Boy? I'm absolutely loving them. Elliott, 54. He's up to 731 now, guys. He's priced at a 52 average there, and averaging 42 overall. But that last 8 weeks has been absolutely spectacular. Definitely my best trade-in of the year when he was getting that chance to play through the middle and some decent minutes. And to think that we'd actually pick up a Raiders player, and there's been some ups and downs in terms of movements, and he got named on the edge. So much going on in this one, but he's done super well for anyone who's picked him up. Tarpane is the interesting one here. Just had a few negatives in this one, and really that's all. Like, minutes was fine. He just got the 51, which we look at now, and it's like, it's a really low score for Joey, but he's been spectacular. I'd price it at 835. Obviously, he made right on his break even this week for an even money game. but he's been great and someone that everyone should be looking at some stage. This is pretty expensive right now. When you can get a Cam Murray or something a bit cheaper, I would be going there. Jerome Hughes, hey? So he got that, dropped that one over the line earlier on in the game. Did have a nice, easy try in there. 6 missed tackles, the 3 errors is a bit annoying. Obviously, neg 18. Kick meters are there, run meters are there. Just needs to continue scoring tries and getting involved that way. And he's just unfortunately not scoring high enough. So if you brought him in hoping that he would really dominate, he's hit a low 50s, a couple of 40s now. So he's definitely someone that you could look to upgrade. But you could also leave him in there as like a 16th, 17th man if you want to. He's a 600k. That's the thing there. How good was that Schiller try? Little grubber in, run out of play, just sneak in and pop that ball down. So a little shout out to you, Mr. Schiller. Sounds like he's okay too after that little injury scare. Xavier, 2 try savers and a pretty normal game for him up against the Storm. So a 38 gets him another 26k in price rises. I think over the next week or two, you could move him on. So this week or next week would probably be the way to go. They will play some easier teams going forward rather than playing the Melbourne Storm every week. So have that in your mind as well. And this is his fullback, his team to play fullback with now without CNK breathing down his neck. So that's that. He'll come Kamika there, 33. In terms of guys like Josh King, I told you got to get rid of him. And Pap now, he definitely has to be a trade out. 61k down, unfortunately. So still got 658 to play with. You can go straight to Doueihi pretty comfortably there if you need to, or can upgrade to guys like Latrell also, which we'll speak about. Please get rid of Starling if you own him. Wolford's time to him to go as well, 344 now. And that is all. Let's move to that last game. And obviously a really, really cool finish there. A couple of nice tries for the Bunnies to round this one out. But plenty of points scored in fantasy and also in the game. 28 points to 36 there. Rabbitohs sneaking away with that win. Latrell Mitchell with a massive score of 98 in this one. And shows why he's super important. You can still get him a 620, obviously a lower break even. We're going to be able to get him at a slightly discounted rate. He will definitely go up over the next bunch of weeks unless there's a clear injury or two for him and he misses some game time. He gets injured at the start of the game. He's going to be making cash and hopefully averaging that 50 plus. And we've spoke about him being one of those guys clearly in the top 5 fullbacks. Adam Doueihi replaces Paps now for that one. Definitely ahead of guys like Drinkwater because he has that ability to go absolutely bonkers. And they're going to need him to, like I spoke about with the Roosters game, they're going to need Latrell to come out and be really dominant for the Bunnies for them to have any chance of pushing into that top 8 and really cementing themselves as a premiership threat, which I think they should be for sure. If Latrell's there and firing fit, then he's going to be able to do well. Totola, massive game for him, 82 points, 234 meters. Well done to him, 56 in base. Was awesome. And a big shout out to Declan Casey as well after his really, really poor debut in the wet. It's a very tough night, tough afternoon for him to come back and have a couple of line breaks, a try, and have 0 errors in this game. My hat goes off to you for getting that opportunity again and really taking it with both hands and showing that he has some talent for sure, which is great. Stimson, how good was he? 59 in the 33 minutes there, getting his hands dirty with 26 tackles and 89 run meters, obviously the try and the try saver as well. So well done to Stimo. We had Johnson with 57, which was really, really cool. I fortunately did not play Raymond Fatala-Mariner in my head-to-head squad, and he picked up a 55. So if you own him, a 39k rise is awesome. And I think we're going to be getting him closer to that sort of 17th, 18th, 19th man that you could use going forward. As you can see here, plenty of scores over the 50 mark. Koloamatangi was great. Obviously, if you own him, there's still a bit of a group that have him at 4.6 ownership. And then we got Matty Burton. So the 50 for him, backing up from Origin, we will take that. But if you don't own him yet, he's down another 36k. So the 2 guys that I've brought in the last bunch of weeks in Burton and also Isaiah Papali'i have both lost a fair bit from their highs, which is something again to learn going forward. Is do you jump on right at the top? Do they potentially come down a bit? A lot of people were thinking that with Cleary though at the beginning of last year, and his price continued to go up, and then you were priced out. So I can understand why you would jump on some players, but other players are a little bit more streaky, whereas someone like Cleary is not. We weren't sure what Burton was going to be like. Kind of worked into the season, started dominating, but we have seen him score super well for a long period of time, in games with 80 minutes at Panthers. So I was like, oh, is he going to stay that way? And had a little drop, but 50 this week and potential to continue going on from here. Maxi King, great work ethic there, 40 tackles in the 48 minutes. If you own him, he didn't lose any cash this week. Josh Jackson, a little bit more of a worry at 45 points for the 67 minutes. Again, we're looking to get him to get 80, but the tackles was his issue this week. With obviously plenty of points in this game, he's wanting a lower scoring one. Then you say, oh, well, Max King got plenty of tackles. Well, look where the traffic was going more to Max King through the middle rather than Jackson on the edge. So you can see that where the game's being played. As you can see, Arrow there, obviously on the edge, getting the 33 tackles. So, still some decent traffic in that 70 minutes, but not ridiculous, compared to what it can be sometimes. A bit over 40 tackles for some edges. Jetty Cartwright, another decent score. If you picked him up, he's up to 307 now. So hopefully another couple of games for him would be ideal, but unlikely. Let's be honest. We got Karaz there with 43 as well, so 14k up for him. Again, I think he's close to a trade out. He did have the 3 offloads, the 2 turnover tackles, so a pretty nice game overall for him. Avili as well, you could look to move him on. Obviously playing through the middle this week is great, but Cam Murray is going to be back next week and might take a little bit of that game time or the work ethic, in terms of run meters as well, and potentially those tackles. Isaiah Tass, for those that picked him up as a slightly cheaper cover option in the centers, you got the 34k rise and the 40 points was lovely. And we moved down a little bit further with guys like Jake Averillo with the 37. It was good. Ilias, if you're still holding him, 37 as well with that opening try. Pango Jr., I don't think is, you can see he's got the 46 minutes. King had some lower minutes there. Did it take away from him potentially, but also hard to tell as well if they're on the same minutes rotation there. And then just Dabby Moale there with 14 points in the 24 minutes is obviously not ideal. But that is all. That's all that we need to speak about in those 3 games, guys. I hope you all had a great week. Getting over 1,000 looks like it made you some ranks this week. My team's slightly improving, which is good. Even bringing in Mr. Damien Cook and captaining him. I got the Hines, Vice, and also Mam as a backup. So that was good. But yeah, as always, guys, subscribe, like this channel. I appreciate you being here very muchly. And we'll catch you in the next video. See you later.